So in this video, I'm going to show you how to maintain the longgrove.com website. So the first thing you want to do is you want to log into the backend dashboard, and in order to do that, you would want to open up a tab and type in www.longrove.com/wp-admin, and that's /wp-admin. If you type in that correctly, you should see a login screen similar to this. So in the meantime, I will log in, and here's the login, or here's the dashboard screen. So within WordPress, you'll see that you have a lot of options to go through to maintain your website. So all the options are listed on your left-hand side menu, and we'll go over some of these. Not all of them are exactly user-friendly. Some of them do require programming, so I'm going to go over the ones that don't require a lot of programming in order to maintain the website. And most of the things that you want to change on your websites don't require programming. So the first thing I want to go over is the user section. The user section allows you to essentially maintain access to your website, the back-end part, this part right here where you allow people to make changes. So right now you can see there's 3 users. If you want to create new users, you'll just click on this Add New button. If you want to edit or delete existing users, you can hover over their name, and you have the option to edit and delete. So let's say we wanted to edit Julie's account. So for example, we want to change the password, which I can see that happening. You'll just click on that person's username, click on edit, and towards the bottom you would enter in the new password, repeat the new password, make sure it's a strong password so that the account doesn't get compromised and a hacker comes in, logs in, and compromises the website. So choose a strong password. The passwords I set up for you guys are pretty strong. If you want to change it, you could. I just recommend a strong password. In any case, once you type in a strong password and you repeat the strong password, you'll click on update. So that's essentially all I want to go over in terms of users. Now, the next thing I want to go over is one of the most important things that you're going to do on the website, and that's to edit the pages. So aside from the home page, because it's a little bit complex, and we'll go over that later, all the other pages of your sites is basically pretty much straightforward. And that's the wholesale, the retail, our history, factory, not the factory tour, the news, the events, and the contact pages are pretty much straightforward. So let's go over some. There are some minor differences between each one. So I'm going to choose the easiest one, which I think is going to be the news or history. I think those two are basically pretty much the same. Basically, right-handed side has all the text, and left-handed side has the images. So let's go ahead and edit the our history. So we'll go into our tab that has the dashboard open. I like to keep 2 tabs open, one with the website and the other one with the back-end dashboard. That allows me to make changes and then flip back and forth to see what my changes affects the site, and how my changes affect the site. So in the back-end dashboard, you'll see a section called Pages. Go ahead and click on that, and that will contain all the pages of your site. So I want to edit the, let's see, where is it? Our history. So I'll hover over our history and click on Edit. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. The text is all in this area where you can edit the text. And then the image is considered a featured image, and that's basically your left-hand side. So this is where you would remove or modify the existing image. So if I want to modify, I'll just click on it, and I can either select from pre-existing images that have already been uploaded to the site, or I could go to upload files and click and drag a file into that window to upload a new image. Now, this is one way to update the image. I will show you another way later on how to update images. The other way will be a little bit better because it will tell you how big the images the current image is and what type of file size it is, that will allow you to then replace it with the appropriate image of the exact same attributes. Because if you want to replace this image, you want to make sure it's the same width as well as the same height in order to maintain the same structural feel of the page. If you upload something that's a different size, it might ruin the structure of the page. It might cause some undesired effects. So later on, I will show you how to upload an image while knowing what the dimensions of and the file size of the existing image is. But we'll wait till then. I want to go over a little bit more in terms of pages. So here on in this area is where you would edit your existing page. It's pretty much like Microsoft Word. You know, you type in your text or you're copy and paste it from a Word doc. Highlight the text allows you to manipulate it, so you can bold it, italicize it. You can change the font family. The existing font, the default font is Raleigh. So as you type in the font, this text here, it defaults to Raleigh. But if you want to change it to something else like Arial, you'll highlight it and then specify the font family that you want. I think there's colors. Now with colors, there are certain custom colors that I predefined for you guys, and let me try to find a page that would have that. So right here, these are some predefined colors. This light brown. There is a darker brown, which is this dark brown here. Those are, so let's say I wanted to have this sentence to be the lighter brown. Highlight the entire section of words that you want to change the colors. And down here, the last two colors in this color picker field are the two custom colors. So this is the light brown, which is the link colors. So all hyperlinks like these, you see how the cursor turns into hands? That tells you that it's a hyperlink of some sort. Those are automatically brown, but I know that Julie has designed the website where certain words, like down here, it's not a hyperlink, but it is light brown. I think it's a little bit confusing to the users, but that's how she designed the site. So in any case, hyperlinks are automatically light brown, and you do have the option, like down here for some of the headers, to specify that light brown color. So you would change this, you would highlight the words and click on this light brown, and it'll turn into that light brown that's predefined. Let's say I want this to be the darker brown, which in this case for some of the headers, you would just highlight the word and you can select darker brown. So it's hard to tell, but this is a darker brown versus the regular black that the site uses. So again, these two custom colors are at the bottom. Using this interface here is like Microsoft Word. Just highlight. You can left align, right align, change the colors, font sizes, font families. You can even do bullet points if you wanted to. Let's see, bullet points. Click on that. And these are bullet points. Hyperlink is probably something that you'll use pretty often. So you'll highlight the words that you want to link. So let's say I want to have Our Way Confections be a hyperlink. I will highlight the word. I'll click on this little paper clip or this chain link icon, which will come up with a pop-up. And I'm not sure exactly what the Our Way website is, but let's say it's just www.ourway.com. I will just type in the URL in the text box. Typically, if it's a link that goes outside of the website, you'll want it to open up a new tab. That way, the person is taken to a new website through another window instead of your existing window. I'll click on Add Link. I'll check on that checkbox for Open New Tab. And if I'm happy with the changes, I can click on Update, and that will make the changes take an effect. You do have a preview option where if you're not sure if you want to make the changes, you want to see how it looks within the content context of the website appearance, you can click on Preview Change, and you can see how that would look. So it looks like we added a little bit more content, which kind of messed up the alignment of the left-sided image. So you either have two choices: either find an image that's a little bit longer, modify this image to be a little bit longer, or you try to modify the right-hand side text to be a little bit shorter so that it fits within, so that it would align with the left-sided image. So the preview changes are pretty nice. It allows you to make previews without actually saving the changes. So just taking a look at my notes to see if there's anything else I wanted to go over. So one last thing. Within websites, there is a difference between a paragraph break and a line break. So a paragraph break is something that's like this, where you're typing, and once you're finished with this paragraph, you'll press enter, and then you continue writing your next paragraph. So when you press enter, it's a line break, but it also creates it also does another line break. So essentially it's two line breaks, so it creates a little spacing. That's a little bit different than if I'm typing and I hold down shift and press enter, where that's just a regular line break. So it's just a singular line break where there's no spacing between the previous paragraph and the current line that you're working on right now. So if you're trying to work some spacing issues, just remember there's a shift enter and there's an enter, and that will allow you to essentially massage the spacing more accurately. So if you want to do a lot of spacing, you just press enter, but if you want to do little spacings at a time, you do shift enter. So just something to keep in mind. The next thing I want to go over is when we were talking about images, there's two ways to do images. You could just add images through for the left-handed side featured image. You could just click on here and upload an image, but it's hard to tell exactly, what kind of image this is. Is this a PNG? This is a JPEG? Sometimes it might matter, sometimes it might not. If you want it transparent but you didn't know it's transparent, it's nice to know that it's a PNG versus uploading a JPEG and finding out, this is a PNG image and my thing isn't transparent. As well as knowing what the file or the dimensions of the image. It's nice to know that, and if you do it by just clicking here, you might not know that. As well as let's choose a page that does have an image. So let's say the retail page has an image within the actual content itself on the right hand side text. So I'm going to go to pages, leave this page because I don't want to make any changes. Retail products. Retail products. Okay, so there's an image in the actual content as well as the right-handed featured image of this part right here. Here again, you could update the image by clicking on it and clicking on this pencil. But again, you don't know. Actually, you do know. You know that the existing image is 189 by 127, and you do have the option to just replace it. So you would just upload an image of the same exact file size, which again is 189 by 127, 189 width, 127 height. So yeah, you could replace it. It doesn't tell you what type of file image it is, but most of the content file image, because it's going to be on a white background, is typically just going to be a JPEG with a white background within the JPEG, so that's not a big deal. It's a little bit harder for some of the images, like if you wanted to update like this right here, and we'll go over these particular sections. Because it has a gradient background, these will be PNG based. This is PNG based as well as this, but I doubt that you would actually have to change these. These are pretty much set in the programming. It's the content part within this white box area that you're going to update a little bit more often. So that's the easy parts to update. Some of these other ones are a little bit more challenging, but it's not too bad, and that'll be in the section that I'm going to go over. But one last thing that I forgot to mention with the pages, if you want to add new image that's not a pre-existing image in the content, you'll just click on add. You'll put the cursor where you want the image to be. So let's say I want it to be right underneath the catalog link. I'll press Shift Enter, and I'll click on Add Media. And add media means anything. So you can add an image, you can add a PDF, a Word doc. You can add pretty much anything. You can add it audio files and video files. It might not play because there's no video player. But with the audio files, if you do upload one, it will create a link to the audio link, and when somebody clicks on the link, it'll automatically open up QuickTime or whatever their default media player is on their browser that they set on their computer. But it won't open up in a nice like video player, like a YouTube player type of thing. That's done in a different way, and I don't think we have something like that for this site, so I'm not really going to go over it. But in any case, if you want to upload an image or a Word doc, you'll just click and drag it over, and that's easy to do for new content and new images and new Word docs that you want to put in the content. Now for existing ones, and this is where I was trying to get to, for existing ones, you want to go to Media. So I'm going to leave here. I want to click on Media, and Media houses all your media files. So that's images, PDFs, Word docs, text files, and so forth. And what I recommend doing is, so for example, the art history, which is, let's see, this image here, I named all the images appropriately, so it should be easy to find. You can also search for it up here. This is the art media image. I recommend going to Media, clicking on the image that you want to update, click on Edit, and you'll see the image here. But you also you can also find out what the file type is. So it's a JPEG. You know the existing file size is 247 kilobytes. So if you want to add another image, try to keep it within the same file size or lower. You don't want to add more. You want to optimize the image so that it doesn't take forever to load the page. So I've tried to optimize most of the images. Within Photoshop there is Save for Web. So I use that option, and I typically save at 85% resolution, and that's very good quality. I didn't use the max, which I think is high, which is 100%, just because at 72 DPI on most browsers, 85% quality is good enough. I don't think the eye can pick up any more than that, but I could be wrong. But I think it looks pretty nice already. But if you see that it's still blurry, or you can pick up on some low resolution symptoms, then go ahead and upload it as a higher res. But again, keep in mind, the higher the resolution, the higher the file size, and it takes longer to load, especially for people who have slower connections on mobile devices or on Wi-Fi or a public Wi-Fi like at Starbucks and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Dimension, we know it's 511 width and 1064 height. So if I were going to update this image, I want to make sure that the file size, the file type, and the dimensions are the same. I'll scroll down and I'll click on Upload a new file, and then I'll upload the files with the appropriate the same image. Choose File, click on the file that upload. Click on the file where it is on your computer. Click on Open, and then go ahead and upload it. And if you follow all the same credentials or attributes, you know that when you upload the new image, it'll fit perfectly the way that the existing image has been uploaded. Now, if like in our example where the text was a little bit longer, and now this text and now there's spacing under this image, at least you'll know that you have to upload an image of at least 511, but it has to be more than 1064, so maybe 1075 or maybe 1100 in terms of the height of the image, so at least you'll know that. So that's how you would swap existing content, especially images. Now there are some PDFs So like let's say next year you wanted to upload the 2015 catalogs. So that's a two-pronged process. The first thing is you want to upload the actual, you want to update the actual catalog. So this catalog here, when somebody updates it, or when somebody clicks on it, it brings up the catalog. Um, so we'll wait while that loads. I think it's a pretty big PDF. But let's see. You want to go to media, and all the PDFs are right here. So let's see. That's the 2014 wholesale catalog. So that would be the wholesale price catalogs. Is that the wholesale price? Let's see. Let's make sure. Yeah, so that's the wholesale price catalog. So you can click on that, and you can click on replace media or click on edit. I like to click on edit just so I know a little bit more details about the files I'm updating. So we know it's a PDF, and we know it's about 3 megabytes. This is the file name. If you upload a new PDF, you don't have to follow the same file name. Just make sure it's the same file type. Choose the file from your computer. Click on upload, and you'll basically change out that existing PDF, the existing wholesale price catalog with the new catalog. And then what you want to do, so that's the catalog we're replacing. And next thing you want to do is you want to change that text to be 2015. So that you would have to go to pages. So for example, I'll go to pages. I will go to wholesale, and I will change the text to be 2015. So two-prong process. You'll update the catalog by going to medias and swapping out the existing catalog with the new catalog, and then you go to pages and then modify the hyperlink to say 2015 instead of 2014. So that's how you would update media assets. And then we also went over how to update catalog. It's a two-prong approach. So again, I like to go to the media section to update any media content because it gives me a little bit more details about the information or the actual media that's being updated. So yeah, media will contain your images and PDF files. So alright, so the next thing I want to go over is the home page, because the home page is a page, but it's a little bit special just because it has all these nuanced areas that's not exactly content driven. There's a slider, there's text for these sub banners down here, and there's also some columns of text, so it's a little bit complicated. So we'll go over how to update the home page. So the home page is made up of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 components. So we have the main slider here, and so let's go over this. So this is the main slider. To edit this section here, you would go to Cyclone Slider in the back end. So right here at the bottom, there's something called Cyclone Slider. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then there's 2 sliders on your home page, or I'm sorry, on your website. There's the home page slider, and there's also the factory tour slider. So if I click on factory tour, we'll see that I think it's a similar layout to the home page. Click on that. So yeah, so it's similar in many ways. So this is the factory tour slider, while this one is the home page slider. So we're working on editing the home page slider, in which case I'll just close this tab for the factory tour. So we see that there's 5 sliders, and I can click on to expand the sliders. I can put a caption. I can also put a hyperlink. If I wanted this to be one of those, if I want a particular slide to be one of those types of slides where if you click on it, it goes to a different page. Like for example, this one, the chocolate factory tour. When you click on it, it goes to the Chocolate Factory Tours page. You'll add a hyperlink. So I think that was slide 4. So you see, as you can see, slide 4 has link URL. I used the shorthand link. Um, so yeah, you could have it so that each of the slide goes to a page. You can either, like the hyperlink on the page, you can select if it opens up a new tab or it uses existing window. Now, because the factory tour is part of the existing website, it's internal. I just chose same window, and that's common. Um, so yes, so if you wanted to add more slides, you could. You click on Add Slides. I think 5 slides is already a lot, as well as the more slides you add to the page, the more the size of the page, because it has to load all those high-res images. So just keep in mind, the more slides, the longer it's going to take to load. As well as for it to naturally scroll through. I mean, most people, I don't think, even click on any of these slides to see everything. They just let it naturally flow. So it's going to take a while to, get to the 5th slide, and I don't know and that's 4,000 milliseconds, so I think that's 4 seconds. So it's going to take about 4 times 5, 20. It's going to take about 20 seconds to even get to the 5th slide. So that's a while. That's almost half a minute. I don't think most people spend half a minute per page anyway. So just know that the more slides you make, it'll take longer to get to that last slide. So with that being said, you want your most important slides towards the beginning. And to edit the image, you'll just click on Get Image. And again, it's hard to tell what the file image size of that image is by clicking on Get Image. But if you want to, if you knew what the image size is, and you just go on Upload, you can click on Get Image, and then you can just drag and drop the image into the field. I would prefer you to go to Media and Factory Tours. You can search for Factory Tours, and it'll bring up all the slides for the Factory Tours. I think for the homepage sliders, I just call the banner. If you want to rename these images so that you can search for them a little bit better next time, you could just edit and then change the media name up here, and maybe you say something like homepage slider image 1, and that way next time you want to update it, it'll be a little bit easier for you. I just use banner. Probably should have chose a better name, but in any case, you'll know that this banner dimension is 1023, width 537, height JPEG is about 132 kilobytes. And then towards the bottom, you can upload the new image, and then if you follow the same dimension size, you'll know that it'll fit perfectly within the slider, and you won't have to worry about your new image being a different size and looking kind of kooky versus all the other images. So again, I always prefer going to medias if it's something like images. But Cyclone Slider is good to know that it contains your slider, so that you could have the option of adding new images. You could even, if you wanted to, let me collapse all these. You could, let's say, you wanted the slide 5 to be first. You can click and drag and change the orders. I kind of don't prefer that, because then it'd just be weird, because it'd be like, oh, slide 1, 2, 5, 3, 4. You're probably better off, I think, deleting the slide, and then renaming this to be 5, renaming this to be 4, create a new slide for 3, and then sliding over to where the third one is. I don't know if I confuse you anymore, but you kind of get the gist. If you want to add a new slide, you could do it either way, whatever you feel comfortable. So that's sliders for the home page, as well as the factory tours. I just realized that it basically follows the same mechanism. Factory tour, if you want to edit this middle section, that is under pages. So let me just revisit that a little bit, just quickly, just because the factory tour is a little bit kind of crazy. So if I do take a tour of our factory, you see that this kind of basically follows the guidelines of how this looks. Um, just curious because I forgot what the home page looks like. So I'm gonna click on home, and it should be empty. Good, because the home page doesn't have anything that's content driven. It's all special pieces. Um, so these bottom parts here on the factory page, it's the same. The only two differences is the slider and the content that's different from the home page versus the factory tour. So let's go over this area here. Let's go back to the home page. This area here is the sub banner, and you would go to sub banner here. You can see it's gourmet chocolates, original pecan myrtles, chocolate factory tours, and our history, and that's essentially these sections here. And if I want to edit it, I'll just click on edit, and I could just change the text. Actually, this entire section here is sub banners, so that's the text and the images. So gourmet chocolate, I can change the text, and I could upload the image, and again, I can't tell what the image sizes are. So my preference is go to media. If you want to be creative, you could, if you use Google Chrome, because I believe Sarah uses Google Chrome. You can right click and go to inspect element, and you can hover over the image link, and it'll tell you 256 by 132, and it's a JPEG, so you can use this. That might be a good plan B if you can't find it under under media. Let's say because I named it weird, like banners for the homepage banners. You could just right click, inspect element, hover over the hyperlink, and it'll tell you, oh, it's 256 by 132, and the code tells you it's a JPEG. So you could do that as an option. So 262 by 132, I could just click on it and then drag that appropriate image in. If I want it to be a hyperlink, you just type in the hyperlink in here, http www, and whatever the link is. In here, I assume that most of the links will be internal anyways, so it doesn't give you the option to open up a new tab or not. It always uses the existing window. So that's how you edit the sub banner, the title as well as the image. Down here, these columns here, these are edited through the content areas. So we have content footer content 1, content 2, content 3, and content 4. And then you have footer. I'll click on edit later, see what that is. I don't recall, but let's say I wanted to edit the fourth column. Oops. Don't want that. So these are the images here. Visit our company, and then these are the two images. This one looks kind of weird, but it's just because it's a PNG transparent with our way being white, and because this is a white background, you don't see it. Maybe if I highlight everything, nope, still can't see it. But yeah, so if you want to edit these sections here, they're under content areas, and then the appropriate columns. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna go ahead and click on footer. Just I'm curious what that is. Okay, so the footer is essentially this bottom part right here. So if you want to change the copyright, so instead of 2014, you want it to be 2015 for next year, you go to content areas, modify the footer, change it to 2015, and then you'll update it, or you can change other text as well. But yeah, that's how you would modify this bottom here. It's content area. So just to review, for the homepage and factory tour, this section here is cyclone slider. This section here is sub banners, the text as well as the image, and content areas for everything below. The last thing I wanted to go over in terms of the content of the page is under wholesale. I think there's request catalog by mail. So this one goes into a special contact form. The contact form is under contact. Leave page here. So if I wanted to modify where the inquiries of this contact form goes to, I'll click on contact form, I'll click on edit. And if I scroll down a little bit, I see that the to field goes to sales@longgrove.com. So if you want this to change, you'll just go to contact, select the request a catalog, and then modify the to field to whatever email address you want, and then you just click on the save. Where is that? Towards the top, save, big blue button. So, and then that's how you would update the inquiry email address. Now, once you made all these various changes, I recommend making a backup. So to make a backup, you'll click on Backup Buddy, and you'll click on Complete a full backup, and it'll take some time to run. But once it's finished running, it'll create a hyperlink of your basically the backup of your website. And once it does, go ahead and click on it, and that will download the backup onto your personal computer. And that way, if your hosting goes under or something happens to your site, like it gets hacked, because that sometimes happens, unfortunately, you'll at least have a recent copy of your website on your local machine, so that you could, ask me to take that back up and put it back online, and then, because servers go down all the time, servers get hacked, websites get hacked, things happen. So after a big update, I recommend creating a big backup or doing a complete backup. And there's no point to doing a backup unless you download it. I mean, it might be safe to do a complete backup and have that backup on the server, but if the whole server goes down, it does you no good to have all your backups on the server. So I recommend, once you do a complete backup, click on that link so you download that backup onto your computer, or at least have it on your computer, and then you can save it in a Dropbox or on a different server, so that way you have your website on two servers. So it takes both servers to go down, which can happen, but a lot rarer than one server going down and losing everything. So backup, backup, backup. Alright, so that concludes this video session. I will create another video session specifically for how to create the interactive PDF that is found on the wholesale and retail pages. This part right here. So that will be in another video.